argue. There's a lot of different points. But I have to say, as an observation, from what I've seen, post the broadcast and the comments, I think most of the people that are coming are of the same mentality, and most of you are agreeing on the same points, which is quite something just to say. So let's continue with the conversation. Okay. Right, just one sec. And guys, while I'm doing this, it's everybody knows that protests are part of the constitution that we have in our country. This is part of our constitution. Peaceful protest for whatever it is that we are allowed to do so. So I think exercising that right for people is something that it has not been done in Zimbabwe for a while, and people don't do that. So if people actually gather to protest, for example, this is about corruption, and most people, the rally call is that Takango Tarisa and our country is going down, and people need to stand up for that. People need to try and hold the government to account, because we cannot let we cannot just fold our hands while we see such things happening. But it is very true to say the power of the people, I think, is the most lethal one. So for any government, I think they know, like somebody was saying here, President Idi always say, the voice of the people is the voice of God. When people come together and when their voices is heard, I think you can shut one or two people. You can pay. Maybe if we're talking here about Tagore and how much money is got and how much money has been spread around. But there's no way you can buy the whole country. You can't buy the whole people. Yes, you can buy a pocket of people that have got influence. But when people come together in their large numbers to say enough is enough, to say this is it, we've had enough, we can't accept. That power that we have when we come together is irresistible to the government. I think one way or the other they will have to listen. So for me, I think for just seeing that people are actually coming together to agree on a certain aspect, to say this is enough, Taneta, we cannot continue to have this. And I think there is a genuine concern and worry to say, if we let this happen, what's going to happen, Pamberaba, it's even worse. People are afraid that our country will not be our country anymore. We can't continue to give power to these few people who are then even giving power to foreign entities. Like, so we've seen all these examples of Chinese shooting one of ours. It's something that the whole country can just go in the street and protest. No, we cannot have this, foreign people getting away with it, even, using drugs and just giving some fines to pay, but, our own people getting jailed for minor stuff. So I think we are at a very critical juncture. Somebody has said this, and I think there's a lot of things that when you look at it, it just shows we are at a very, very critical juncture, and I think action is needed. But anyway, Mkoma Lennon, okay, I think you're still on down there. I'll bring you up in just one sec. Okay. Right, Mkoma Lennon Manzwa, speech from Bombshell, Comrade Bombshell. What was your take on that? Lennon? Okay, I don't know, Lennon, I don't think you're speaking, you're muted. Okay, maybe I'm not so sure if his connection. I can go to any of the guys on the speakers. Anyone who wants to speak, please come through.
Oh, sorry. Don't bring one thing as well.
Yes.
Ndoda kubvunza what happened nepainzi pakasungwa mukadzi comrade Bombshell and stuff. Handisi kuziva kuti what really happened then zvakazoita sei kana paine any information. Thank you.
Yes, I remember the arrest here at Takambona. I don't know what happened. I don't know if anyone knows. We'll try and find out, my brother, but I'm not so sure. We'll try and find out about that.
Alright, that's okay. No, zvimwe futi zvimwe zvinotiratidza kuti comrade Bombshell ane pavakatsika, because a lot of people who oppose the government, if they can go kune vanhu vacho, they go after their families. Saka ndo zvimwe zvinoratidza kuti Geza is even protected and his family is even well. Saka tikacheka welfare family yaGeza, it shows us kuti we are good and we have a green light to go. Thank you.
You're absolutely right. You're right on that one. Koma Lennon, can you speak now?
Thank you very much, Moftitus. I've listened to the address that we received from Comrade Geza about an hour or so ago. It's quite clear that he's turning up the heat. Battle lines have been drawn, and it's now clear where each of the two parties stand. It appears the remnants from a dysfunctional opposition are siding with the baboon. And a lot of people that I'm seeing on the streets, people having these quiet conversations, they seem to be behind the general. What the other man has supposedly is the gun and strength financially, but comparing the two, I seem to get the impression that the hearts of the people are with the general. And it's unfortunate that if he is going to continue, he's going to continue with to run the state, if it's for the remainder of his presidency, without much traction. Clearly, if you read that dossier or that response, there's an allegation made to the effect that somebody seems to be creating parallel structures within the party. And the party, as we have known it during the time of RG, had clear structures from cell, district, and youth league, women's league, and the main wing, and it had clear structures. But this man knows that he's not with the people. Whatever his agenda cannot be achieved with genuine and organic love from the masses. So he has then had to create parallel structures so that it backs whatever projects that seemingly he has. We have seen fake philanthropy being thrown around people of influence. And it's not by chance that they were targeting specific constituencies amongst our people. It's because they know that he doesn't have the organic support of anyone who's right meaning and who has got good intention. But because some of our people are so desperate to the extent that if you are given an opportunity to be over 20,000, people will take it because things are very difficult in our country. So I want to then point to say battle lines have been drawn. We now know who stands for what, whether it's genuine or not. The general has got a good manifesto, if we were to put it that way, that in the past few weeks, the other camp has made certain strategic mistakes, and maybe it has worked in the favor of the general. But I'm not too sure about 17 October, whether it will kick off, whether it will be another monumental failure, whether there is plan B. We do not know. These are tacticians who might have a decoy, who might be using 17 October as a decoy for execution of a alternative option elsewhere. I am now quite sure that if somebody in the opposition, whom I cannot name, were to give the signal to the people, it's just a funny idea that a combination of the general and the other person who's not active these days would maybe give us a sensible transitional authority that is semblance of a democratic institution. The best bet, in my opinion, that would get international acceptance is a popularizing of the people. That is not a blatantly military, or that does not have any, if you look at the introduction of that response, the way they couch the transition from Robert Mugabe under that Restore Legacy operation, they now deny what we have been told in the public, that they were targeting only criminals. Some of these funny things. We saw SB Moyo come live on television. Everyone heard that the intention was to deal with a criminal cartel that was surrounding the then president. But now we are being told that that is disrespectful of a founding father of this nation. And it's as though they are spinning it back and putting that blame on the general, as though people do not know. People know that the intention, or purportedly the intention, is to, the intention then in 2017 was to cleanse the presidium of a criminal cartel that was usurping constitutional functions. And we appear to have the same scenario playing again. So to sum up, I would want to say it's now up to the people. It's now up to Geza and the other camp to do the right thing, if it's on Friday or later. But I have a very strong feeling that something is going to give in the coming few days. The legalities of which are not so important, in my opinion. Those are the legal theatrics that people play in an open court of law without much, meaning to the bigger scheme of things. It's either the gun will win or the voice of the people, as he said again in 2017, will win. I do not know which one of the two. I have a side that I seem to be more attracted to. I yield my mic for the moment.
That's a very interesting take from Komalen. Yeah, would love to hear more from people that are on the ground. Just to understand, just to kind of get the feeling. Hopefully, by tomorrow and Friday, we can try to hear what's the atmosphere on the ground in Zimbabwe. What's the general feeling? What are people thinking? What are people going to do? And even if there are people here that are on the ground, like Sam Komalenon, please grab the mic. Just want to hear what's the feeling there. And even if you guys, if you got, when you're speaking to your people that are back home, are the people going to participate on the 17th? Are they going to be involved? What is the general feeling? Because definitely here on X, we can tell the general feeling. We can tell people are agreeing. People are basically saying enough is enough, and people want action. People want change. I don't think if there was a poll, or if there was anything that is done on social media, I think the core is very clear of what people want. Yes. So anyway, Guys, let us know kana muchitaura nevanhu vari paground. Let us know what is the suggestion, what are people going to do. Can I move on to okay, I think you guys I think all of you have spoken, so let's just go for a second bite. Then maybe if you speak, you can just give your conclusion. Then we'll try and add more. So let me try. Let me go to Chido, Child of Zim.
Thank you, Uncle Titus. Masudasi, Uncle Geza, Uncle Titus, everyone here. How are you? I hope everyone is well. I was listening to Comrade Geza speaking and following the letter. There was supposed to be a show of strength, but probably dismally done. Me, what I think I would have, in another world, I would have opted that we do things, we have another option, and would have loved that. But then the reality on the ground is what I've heard from people on the ground. The communities are divided. Some are saying they're going, some are saying they're not going, from the communications I've done with people. And those that have said they're not in support, they're not going, I've advised them that today these people will need our support because we're not believing the way they're doing things or the way that they've decided. But we have to support out of the duty, knowing that next week we might need them also to join in to our small thing, our small whatever that we do decide to do. And it's the unity that counts, that we do have a common problem. And being united, even though we have different opinions, ideas, but supporting each other, because there is hope. So we support that little bit of hope. At the same time, we also try to encourage those that have got information that can protect those that are going out, so that they know how to protect themselves, how to make sure they're safe, how to make sure there's accountability of individuals, and all the other things that are usually done for protests. They should be done in the small groups of people as they are. Why? Because we don't have direct communication with the main group. But then I've heard and confirmed, I've heard about the war veterans that have confirmed, and they are very angry. But it's expected. They've got a lot of their own reasons. But as the war vets are going to be saying this for their own reasons, the youth also have got their own reasons for being unhappy. Just as much as kana muchiona munhu akaita saLennon, who's a lawyer, akusupportawo these kind of things, it must tell you kuti zvinhu zvakaoma and kukupisa kuZimbabwe. As much as we want to judge those on the ground, let's be lenient, knowing that they are the ones who are feeling the heat more. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Tinotenda, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Chido. Thank you for that, Uncle. Pane chimwe machona zvatanga. Yeah. Account shauya so you can't kick it out, you can't what?
Yeah, you can't do anything to it.
Yeah. Don't you know score space Jojo?
Yeah, this is, I don't know, I'm just kind of a space space.
Definitely. It is.
It doesn't make any sense with the space, they want to fire and full bars and everything. As well, they're constantly being, kicked out. It's because of this.
Somebody has been tampering. Yeah, so guys, you might don't know there's just like an account in Engeri and You can't kick it out. You didn't get your requester. You can't. Every other person you can. I can go to anything. I can go to your profile and kick you out of the space. I can, remove you from speakers or whatever. But you can't do anything on that, and it's just there. So it has happened before, and I know when such comes, I know what it does. Anyway,
yeah, disappear. Yeah, disappear. It comes on, and when it comes on, you have requested it. So then okay, activate who accept a request. I ningi andubona tizo ningimubona ningivamwisa ndaenda ndipana bento ana ake ku request but ukaenda ndipana bento anditi panokupa option yekuti send direct message, invite to speak, invite to co-host, remove bento, report and remove bento, block and remove bento.
Yeah.
Iyo inongowane pakati zo invite nenge to speak. Even though ya request that nenge to speak.
Absolutely, there's no other options.
I wonder what this woman actually. And what will be happening with such an account?
I don't know, Elon Musk, what's happening? Because it's definitely, I think it has to do with the space, and
well, now this is now the third sign. Yeah. At each time when they get their data. Or each time that thing is there, space in
it's never settled, yeah.
Never settled, yeah.
People are dropping in.
And anyway, we move. Anyway, the two-factor authentication.
Oh yes.
We need in a 10 man. And they don't
yeah, no, that's cool. Uncle, I end up at a train station for in a to continue in the background. But anyway, give to Black Hammer.
Hello. Sorry. Ndine hamba yangu very close relatives murakashi. Anofarakashi vedu anorakasha. Atoripo paspace but ari kushandisa as anonymous. Ndakamubvunza ndikamuti ko nami ndara haufani tension iri kuitika nesituation iri kuitika. Akandibudira pachena zvikanzi one thing I wish dai ndisina kujoina avarakashi kembi ndikati koindawa ingwani muri kudya mukutopiwa magunanzi nemachichichi. Zvikanzi we are forced to tweet. We cannot keep quiet because takadya. It's like we sold our soul to the devil. Unoziva kuti ukaromba une mhiko dzaunofanira kunzi uite ende ukasadzita ndokuparara kwako.
Mati vakatodya kudai.
Akatodya. Aitondibvunza achiti hanzi akunawo makosi here ukadzokawo zvemakosi ku-UK undudzwo chichichi whatever ndodaenda kuPoland ndikati ndaenda kuPoland comrade imi muri kutodriva mota dzakanaka nechichi nemagunanzi chichi tokanzi wangu takarombeswa takadhibha hanzi tosvika pakuudzwa kunzi munogona kungoswera matsakatika. Hanzi mumwe musi ndakaremind kunzi mfesa inzi itaidzamara unomuziva kanzi takangonzwa nezvake zvikanzi afanira akangoda kungwarisa so vanhu mufanira kungoshandawo kana matumwa basa so saka samofara kasha munoti kuti ndikuamiririra hangu but some of them aiwa avaregererewo vakaromba they are afraid kuti everything they did they got it can be taken away from them. Vanogona kungoswera wangonzwa kunzi Black Hammer hatisi kuziva takaenda kupi hatisi kuita sei hatisi kuziva. And they said kuti we never knew kuti though the depth of our politics is taingofunga kuti $10 atakatanga tichipiwa they were okay tichingotwita tichiita engagement but twitter tichiwanawo mari tikati it's okay patakazotanga kugamuchidzwa zvinhu zvakaita sezvimota, zvimafoni, zvimachii and stuff, and later on tikada kusimudza musoro kana kutaura as long uri muZimbabwe, you are done. So and we are afraid, we hope that the ED faction will remain for the safety of us and our families. Because the Chiwenga faction, if it comes to power, we have said a lot of things which is unforgivable. And we are going to suffer. It's either we are going to exile to join other people because hanzi zvina zvina kumira mushe. Saka ndango ndingokuudzai zvangu kuti ndo zvavari kutaura vamwe vacho kuti things are tough for them. It's either vachaenda kuexile, and that's how it's gonna be. Regai ndishande ndingahake mota dzevanhu.
Aiwa tinotenda.
Mondidropa zvangu because hakunoko.
Imi chandoziya hapana chemahara kana even mushana wacho. Unodokwirira ndege kuenda kwauri hakuna chemahara pasi pano.
Uncle Gerard Namof, sorry to disturb you. Renard ari kuzama kuda kukwira pamusoro.
Hansi kumotomuona Renard wacho. Sabisa kutomuona kamari.
Chere handisi kumuona.
Tinjazita wese rimwe.
Ndatumirira message.
Tinjazita wese rimwe rakanzizonenge chinja unyore kuti Agraboski.
Can you drop me please mwisenyu mwatore mic?
Alright, mira ndikudrope ungo.
Alright.
As next time mudzidzai kuzvidropa mega. Ndimi muda kuitirwa imimi.
Ndiri kudriver.
Alright, kana modriver is fine. Nekuti tanzwa pana kuti mazimbabweans nomnyazozobetsera mavhunzi. Alright, anyway. Thanks mukoma wangu Black Hammer. So, alright, mira itoni. Okay. Regai tiende kuna ndiani wana Eda basa data wala no can I have Mada? Mada? Ah, Mada wajaduna. Can I have Koko Mzimba?
Anzi.
Yeah, Koko Mzimba.
Hello Uncle Jed, makadii.
Ndakasimba vanhu.
Aiwa isiripo yedu nangu handina zvakawanda zvekutaura. Ndandoda ngoti vana Geza vari kuzivawo here kuti vamwe vanhu vakawanda paground havasi kutozivawo kuti kune zviri kuda kuitika Friday. Pana hama dzangu dzandangofonera nchimboti Friday zvamurimi zvikanzi hapana chatiri kumboziva isu. Saka hazvisi zvepaTwitter nana Facebook chete here izvi.
Koba Twitter na Facebook pana yavanhu kana yavanhu.
But vakawanda vasi kuziva vasingashandise kamaplatform aya vedu. Hati muri kuda kuti mhomo izare here vachiziva saka so hangu.
No, vanhu hansi kukushorai. Point yenyu itori right. Yakatonakisisa ende yakatosimba.
Isu toda ngoti noise ifambe chetu kuti vanhu vazive ndo contribution yangu zvangu.
Ende futi zvamatoita izvozvo matogona. Ende ndinoda kutenda ine that role yamato player. You've done a civic duty on your part. And zvakatokosha ndike zvamaita izvozvo. And thank you very much for letting me vamwe venyu know. Sometimes ndokufamba kunoita chini, ndokufamba kunoita mashoko. But mune point yakanaka and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right. Right, you excuse me. Right, okay, the gate daiso. Then, okay, tatina wasn't the rogo. What are we doing?
Tongoti aluta continua. Sisi wangu wabva kutaura. We are the voice that should spread the word and content. Tese tiri panapa. Umwe agatora the task whether we are giving people. We need to give people information and give them the reasons and let the people decide. but chikuru ndechekuti kune kumagumo kune nyaya something is going to happen, whether Zimbabweans will win or Zimbabweans will be defeated, but kumagumo iwawo. So we need to choose this fight. It has never been about us at the beginning, but the moment fight constitution yedu, abuse of power, nevanhu vatakutonya kuti chimunina changu kine chakaiswa muzano PF provincial weHarare Tagwirei Central Committee, full consolidation of power, Scott arimo kumusoro ikoko. Vanhu veZimbabwe kana muri kuda kutorwa pasi totanga kugara nemi tikunyorera muri kuona apa patadzadzotiri because hapana provincial executive paichakondema chivhayo nina wakarini hapasina pavachakondema Scott, hapasina pavachakondema Tagwirei. Itatoonana ziyambe vatotiudza. Saka we need to alert people kuti zvamugabe zvayo zviri nani pai pataitaura zvamugabe apa kune vasiri kudya nefoshoro angojeti vanonokora neTLB vachitora so vaisamavo ivo vapiwa neteaspoon ovati neTLB ivochiwa neteaspoon ivachitora neTLB. Saka toita equal sei pakadaro. Apa maresources anofanira kubenefita munhu wese, maminerals resources enyika, but ari kubenefita few.
But how can somebody Tatenda, how can somebody who calls out corruption be called accused of treason?
Ndo patona pano kudzai kuti what type of a country yatini
pane point futi yandaverenga so ndikati right, pane accusation yakaitwa yekuti ofisi yapresident yangoitwa manjake chiko chiri kuitika muofisi mapresident mangoitwa mamadecisions imomongo, and then they come out and say kuti it is a private thing that goes on in there.
Hakuna private thing zvinoitika. Angojedzidura kukuvhunza
ofisi yapresident state house
kunoitwa maso makambozviona kupi state house, even ana Donald Trump anoda vanhu, even kwedu kuBuckingham Palace kunoku kweduku angojeti vanhu vanongonoungana kwane house kana kunamba 10 Downing Street kunongonoungana vanhu mune kwenyika munogumira.
There are a lot of people in Zambia who are not happy with that. I can tell you, they are not happy with the what's happening with the office of the president, because that place needs respect and dignity.
Kumachono region ya mofu ni machono village. Ana mofu ni kichibukwana ya ana mofu. Muri masite zvarangu chaiwo ka. Maningi makani zvarira vana vakomana. Asi makani pamudzimai akatizvarira vana vakomana. Asi kozvezvo ndichibukwana. Amana tiri kukonzentrata tinyaya tiri kukonzentrata panavo. Handizo neimwe mhofu zvanzi there are 2 lawyers, one in Zimbabwe who has 200,000 for polling agents. Ipa vanhu mari yavo. This is an outstanding 2023 issue. Another lawyer in South Africa, Maria Bulletproof car, when it was paid by GoFundMe in UK, it was paid to a money changer account in UK, who immediately paid it to the FNB account of this South African lawyer. Mofu when they were decided to fire a salvo.
Yeah, but Mofu when they is still talking in parables, though, isn't it?
Is a panel lawyer.
My accusations are on go to Kaka.
This is a panel to my lawyer na Mofu when.
Right. Where was that coming from? Is that something Changu Nyuka or Roger?
Right. Ningi anzikuziva kuti izvo handidi munoziva pane post yanga yakanyorwa navachamisa yekuti who is SG we have no such titles in the citizen movement. We are all change champions. We are a great family. Saka vanyora pa image iyoyo vanyora zvavanyora vabvaisa image iyoyo vabvaisa screen grab yenhingi iyoyo ndo yavaisa ipapapa vachibva vanyora nezvavanyora.
vauda kutodistracta vanhu mofa ngavauya nenyaya yavo straight vanhu vari kufokasa nezvinhu zvisina basa takavapa mukana mhofu kuti mutaure tell it all on the
anozainozanuda kuti mhofu nenge huyai mhofu tinyatsokurukura atipare zvono tambofokasa nenyaya yechi nenyaya yemachi
uncle don't forget kuti Morph would be the biggest beneficiary of 2030. He's a 2030 strategist.
Are you sure?
Yes, those are the guys, because their life depends on 2030. Avasi kutomboda my elections because a lot of Zimbabweans are upset. They know that. They are not stupid. So their survival depends on ED. If ED succeeds, they succeed as well.
Yeah, makwikwi. Regai tinzwe kubva kune vamwe. Ndaona mukoma Julius T. Makasimbere.
Tiri pedu makadiyo.
Muri sei kwamuriko?
Tiri bozve disi.
Handijika ndoka machika iyi atachasara naye kuswera mangwanai.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be very difficult because I think the main thing here is that the army has to guarantee the protection of the protesters, and I think they have to be part of the protest as well. I think we have recently seen in the past with this protest, there's always a bloodshed. So I don't think there's going to be a very big turnout unless if the military is part of it and they guarantee protection for the protesters.
Right. Saka mimi ndimi vamwe vari kutaura kuti izvo parudiwa protection.
Yes, because history we have seen in the past. I think there was 1st of August 2018, and when the army shoot the protesters in Harare. So it's going to be difficult. That thing is always in people's minds. So I really don't know whether Geza and Chiwenga, what is their plan there. They have to really come up with something that is tangible to say, guys, we are going to protect you, because otherwise we're gonna have to repeat again and people die and then nothing goes to succeed.
Okay. Awa ndinotenda mukoma regai tizoudo vamwe vanoti advocate chimbwa mupengo muri sei kona advocate?
Hello Uncle Jen, muri sei?
Maofisi enyu ari kupa advocate dakumbouya.
Tiriko izvozvi tiri pamutare kuconference.
Vakarotsikira zviro muri
delegation yaComrade Bombshell ikoko. Ndiri kutamba.
Ndozvangu tinotenda mukoma nekuuya kwamaita. Right, tipewo tizvo.
Uncle Jen, pane zvataura musharuka uyu abva kutaura kuti zvakaitika pane pakaitika maprotest maybe. There's a video that shows up commonly when you search up ma-protest in Zimbabwe. Even right now, Varakashi, when they hear about the protest that's coming up, they post that same video. But anyway, video emwe musoja so angachiridza mabara Uncle Jet. Akatarisa crowd. Angari mablanket rega kuti angari live ammunition, but dai angari live ammunition ka vanhu vanga vachifa.
Aiwa ndovidura iye musi 18 August kamukoma ndo video yacho iyoyo.
Ndiyo musoja pane mumwe akaita kunge asvikirwa, so akataita zvekupfugama akaita zvekurohwa nakomanda wacho tichamarira zvauri kuita.
Ndiye musi 18 August soon after my elections.
Saka imisa Uncle Jed na Uncle Titus and everyone who's watching that as an ordinary citizen anditi uchiona video iyoyo uchiziva kuti pamwe ndo zvakarongwa, would you, I don't know, zvata muchinda zvekuti protection of the citizens kana army is part of it, people are going to have confidence because sezvazviri izvezvi when no one knows people vanongofunga kuti kuchafiwa futi, so I think like as long as the personal confidence yekuti the army will be part of it, I don't know, maybe we'll have another 23 March Geza pakati ngatigare kumba. I don't know, but yeah, I just hope for the best, but ndingoona ichiita unge iyayi.
Saka imimi ningi makatotyizirwa ndinginovarakasha vachikurakidza zvimba mato vatesa ndimushure pakati mumakumbo mukatoti inini advocate chimbwa musungu ati chimbwa mupengo arega ndinopengera sendishamugera.
Uncle Jed, imimi neni tikaenda pamberi paipa tikaona musoja wayo apfugama tinopamira here Uncle Jed? Amen.
Aiwa nyika handiti ndokwanga kune ukaona munhu adaro kaunongoita take cover ndozvatikatipa kuhondo guys kuti ukaona kuti yarira kuita take cover.
Semusoja wayo izvezvi anenge ari kutotrainwa kunzi shamari musi wa17 tiri kutoda pamberi futi.
Wewe ndofunga akutopenga wewe musiye
aite mbanje Uncle Jed, but that's my contribution.
Handiti aiwa thank you very much for your concerns mukoma, asi sometimes munoziva kuti izvo vamwe panongoda kushingwa so
Geza ndati mabulletproof vest pamwe
bulletproof vest ego ndopamunodetsera ipapo mazimba mafaranye mabulletproof vest kuti makwadivi kudakoma
helmet Uncle Jed because pakare pakaipa
youth yekumadhagaska ingaite mahelmet
but the army was involved sabvira kwabva kupa vanhu mota
youth yakatenga zvinhu zvayo army yakazoti aiwa we are not going to take the command yekuita subject ma citizens, our children, our brothers and sisters kuti tivapfure o tivarowe semune kune pause hapana pekuti vakatanga kwati army yapinda masiti vanhu vachizotevera. Army yaitozouya ichisuppressa police because police ndo yanga irimo mumastreets ichirwisana nevanhu. Army yakabva yazouya yakati siyai vanhu vaite takuprotecta the integrity yemacitizens nenyika. Same nekumadagaskar. Do your research
ninge ndinangobvunza mukoma iyo nai mukoma
ndibvunzei ndiri kuteerera.
ya munhu anomuka makuseni akananga hake mutauni ungosvika ubvarohwa nemotikari ubva afa. Munhu iye aizviziva kuti zvonenge acharohwa nemotikari achifa.
Aiwa kuitawo zuva rake rinenge rasvikawo.
Zuva racho unongonange rasvikawo futi musi iwoyo.
Uncle Jed tinenge tiriko kumugabe square regai tiendezve.
Endai motora mavidhiyo imimi ndimi vanhu
zvenyaya ina kuchinjwa here.
Aiwa
zvenyaya yachinjwa here hanzi
kuafrica unity so imimi chiendai imini ndimi moita macitizen journalist, you understand?
Will be there Uncle Jed.
Mobva matora mavidhios mobva matitumirawo
aizonakidza manje comrade bombshell acho dai anga vari pamberi tinavo vachiti encourage
kohuseizi kuti izvo ko mukazomona ari pamberi akuita direct operations ari pamberi
tinobva tafara.
right. Mirai guys, pane statement yandizo statement by the vice president on the illegal demonstration code for 17 October 2025, but yandizo ifake. And it has come to attention that certain individuals and groups calling for demonstration 2017, the government will not tolerate this. Let me. There's something that I need to verify quickly before I talk about this.
Geza what are you Geza? Zimbabwe.
What
Geza are you? I don't Zimbabwe or is outside.
Tese toda
kutoziva because
Julius,
because anenge achidya mapopcorn isu tichidushurwawo
wazviona manje saka zvishande
muda macoordinates a comrade bombshell here.
tinoda kuti vatoti coordinator kuti vakomana momira makadai mukaona vachidai something like that.
Yeah.
Because tese tikaita zvemusoro medu zvinozoita here nhai mukoma titles kuti tese tikuita zvemusoro medu. It needs to be more coordinated.
Iyo statement ndapedza kuiverenga iri kuverengwa nangogerati.
No
coherence.
Mirai, there's something that is being said about that. Saka ndati kuchimbo Mirai.
Okay, Genesis.
Anzaka nzida kutaura nezvayo.
Pamusoro indombera kungota kumbokomentawo kunana baba vari kuti vari kuda kuziva kuti Geza ari papi kana kuti Geza anofana kuuya achicoordinator. I think, gentlemen, you are taking this thing lightly. And I assume kuti you are not on the ground in Zimbabwe, muri kudiaspora. You might not be understanding exactly the situation of people that are in Zimbabwe. You probably in your maybe 40s, 50s or 30s, and you as a young able man, you are expecting an 80-year-old man to come and give you a command. Why can't you be courageous enough and say, okay, Geza, you have given us the initiative. Us as the youth, your children, you as an individual are the ones that are going to benefit from what Geza is doing. Geza is not going to live to 200 years old. What he's simply doing, he's doing us a favor. As cowards, we are a generation of coward people. We find comfort in pointing Chamisa will bring freedom to us. Now we have gone, Chamisa has come and said, I am tired of leading directionless Zimbabweans who do not want even their own freedom. He said he's tired. Now Geza comes up, an 80-something-year-old man is the one that we are waiting for to lead us. Why can't you take the front and say, okay, Geza, thank you so much for giving us this initiative. It's time you, as the youth, Isusu, people that have failed our children, to make this right, to encourage and to pass on the word to say, let's liberate ourselves from these selfish people. Geza has it wrong. Even if Geza wakes up tomorrow at the beach in Mauritius or wherever, he's done his part. He has done his part as a person, as a Zimbabwean. He's got nothing to gain from this. His children are probably sorted. He's probably sorted. But vana vedu ndo vasina future. Vazukuru vedu, hama dzedu, ndidzo dzisina future. Maybe 2-3 years from now or 2 days from now, Geza will be dead. Muchaita say, as Zimbabweans. I rest my case.
Right, okay. Right. So that letter iyo yaurutara nitatenda. It's a fake letter. But it's a letter that I'm being told is a letter that has been authored by Zigananda.
Yes.
And it has come from the office. I've been given the, could you have an office man? Yes, you have a hands office kwa hands Mutambudzi.
Oh, Dr. Mutambudzi. The useless former military guy who is akasingaite Dr. Mutambudzi vatema so anotaura kunge mwana mudiki mupostori murume mukuru.
Saka ndowananzwa kuti izvo ndokwayaita.
Mutambudzi wakanyatsomuisa mukona anotanga kudiflect after asina senzika. Anisa mukona. I know he's useless.
Yeah, Saka, that is what's up about that thing. And it's a fake document. The office of the vice president did not author that document, but it's a document yanyorwa nezvigananda, as I'm being told. Saka vana would preempt whatever it is that is going to happen in 27 by calling that fake. I'm in 17. By calling that Kutizo, vice president, what is going to be an illegal, demonstration. But I'm being told Kutizo, that is yet somebody. That is basically what is coming out. Right. JT, JT.
Ndisati angu nangoti icho ndicho.
Iwe futhi.
Friday 17 mavhira tokupai mavhira avira part 4. Icho ndicho.
Anzi machi?
Mavhira avira part 4 Friday 17 angu. Icho ndicho.
Squila is nobody talking. But anyway, Mochi. Mochi Levi.
Ako Levi.
Abana ndiswe.
Mapedza nyaya iripo ka yezvana Geza iyo isitenge ichitaura from the pit of experience ezvinhu zvakamboitika and with the movement since 1999. Tichiona zvakaitika takambofara in 2017 tikarasa muswe tikati maybe isazvikoniwa maybe ndo maudiro acho apa but institution iya inonzi ZANU-PF inofanira kuzikama kuti yakamira sei. Tichiona isusu vana Geza is a ZANU-PF guy. He said already he is not denounced himself from the ZANU-PF thing. He is just against vana Mnangagwa negame ravo. Saka tikazotaura manje kuti vanhu vanoda change. Constantine of Finger. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, you can speak. We can hear you.
All right. So vanhu vanoda change, and the people have become desperate. That's where we are at right now. Saka desperation iyoyo inoita kuti mutambire vanhu vatambire anything. And right now we need to
get to the bottom of where exactly are we at. General, is a ZANU-PF cadre. He's a ZANU-PF guy. I think he's second in command in ZANU-PF right now. I would say maybe he's a deputy secretary with ZANU-PF, according to their hierarchy. He has not denounced his position. He is playing safe and comfortable. So who are we to play rough, to play it reckless? If General can play it safe, who is a general with all the bodyguards and everybody else, why should anyone else just play it reckless and risk it all? Then we come to, then they say, he cannot say it because he still wants the power within ZANU-PF. But that comes to cowardice that we have been saying, not us, but everybody has been saying, everybody else somewhere have been saying, oh, Chamisa, if he is tough enough, he has to be in front of everybody to call a demonstration and a scene in front. Why are we calling it different when it comes to Chamisa compared to Chuen? If I was going to say, if General was going to come today, or even on the eve of whatever the demonstration is going to be, and say, I am with the people, denounce his position as a ZANU-PF is already saying his position.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I think I don't.
Yeah, maybe it's network issue. No, we can't hear anyone.
No, I think he dropped network. Hi guys, I think I know because of network.
What I think he was talking about Nelson Chamisa distancing himself from the
protest.
Yes.
Uncle Jet.
Right.
Uncle Jet.
Hello?
Hi, sorry to interrupt you. I have a question.
For who?
For you and maybe for everyone here, maybe you know, it's like kind of like a troubleshooting process. Pane ambotaura kuti pane musikana ambotaura kuti, you know, zvirungobuda pama WhatsApp nepama Facebook, but you know the multitudes don't have access to
yes,
platform.
Yes.
So muchiri kuziva a few months back we had an issue in Mozambique. Anetsa zvisingaiti. And that presidential candidate who had been robbed, he mobilized thousands, if not most of the population, into the streets. How did he do it? And how did he manage to convey his message to the multitude? And how did they manage? Can we maybe spot the difference in the approach yakaita iye kuti akwanise ku attract such a crowd and to motivate people in their numbers to go into their crowds compared to what methods we are using here, trying to convey our message and trying to mobilize people? What did he do right that maybe we can improve on so that our protests can have a better maybe impact?
Yeah,
that's my question.
Yeah, okay. Anapapana muna kwasa kupindula inini sorry mkoma nsopansa kutaura nenge kwenguya nekakati rebei saka muri kuona ndi disappear ndaramba ndikosora kuti munzori ndiri kukosora. But anyway, Masi, can you come?
Masura yangu Jet.
No, I'm good. How are you?
Nah, imwai magwava, mashizha emagwava nemalemon.
Ndungozama.
Mobva mapiwa haki futi ikoko ku-men flow tinoiziva men flow ino-exaggerate ku-exaggerate
zvinomanje it's mayday both sides.
Anyway, you know what, whatever will be. You cannot stop reggae, and a revolution whose time has come will not stop because a debate happened. If it will, it will. If it won't, it won't. This was really poor. And but what is shocking to me is the disregard for Zimbabwean people's personality to their revolution. Revolutions can take a persona that reflects sometimes, not all the times, the people of that place. It must take their lived experience. It must take their weaknesses and their strengths. Sometimes you can take advantage of my culture's arimo, where certain things are more likely than not based on how those people generally react or act towards certain things. The Zimbabwean people, whenever we get to this stage, there's a disregard to those people who represent what could be norms, cultures, psychology, Zimbabwean. And we are just told, no, forget about it. But then we will talk about, let's mobilize. What is mobilizing people in the first place? Mobilizing people is setting them up so they can do the thing you want them to do. I don't see why what age has anything to do with a request to say, give me directions. If a person is admitting a willingness to act, but an incapacitation to do so, you can't turn around and say, what do you want an old person to do? Revolutions have been led by very old people. There's nothing special about his age, Geza, that he can now not give instructions. If you give people instructions, if they need instructions, if it is the missing ingredient for them to act, someone says, I really want to do something, but chinonditadzisa is this. If we continue to ignore Zimbabweans' needs, that will capacitate them to do things, will call out for things to happen daily. We should share zera for people to do things, but the results will always be the same. It is not the lack of passion. It is not the unwillingness to act. It is the inability. And inabilities are multiple we carry different reasons why we don't act. It's very easy for us to sit here and speak boldly, speak as if, but we know half the people who were as vocal here today, we will be here on the 17th analyzing what's happening in Zimbabwe. It's a fact. You will be here with me on the 17th. The people who you disregarded when they asked for directions, when they asked for capacity, when they asked are the ones who you want their feet on the ground. Where you will be is a phone in your ear on the 17th here on Twitter. So if people ask, meet them at their point of need. You don't lose anything to say what is it that you may want. If Geza cannot answer that question and you have the answer, you can help a person. That they've directed the question to Geza doesn't mean Geza has to answer. All those who are capable can answer that question for Geza. No, let's meet Uku. For you to be able to get there, cheetah easy. Or ask the person, what is preventing you now to be able to do it? Maybe what they need is something so simple that you can provide. So simple. If someone is lacking transport, we could hurry up right now and organize transport. But to just say, what do you need? And Nkomo was old. In the grand scheme of things, he was old. But he would not use an excuse of saying, I'm very old, you are too young. No, youthfulness has advantages. It has disadvantages too. An uncontrolled youth can be an advantage to you or a disadvantage to you. An undirected youth with all those hormones on the street can be good or bad for you, to your outcome. And if people are coming and asking, don't dismiss them. And no one is doing anybody a favor. Nobody is doing anybody a favor. This idea that Geza is doing us a favor. No. Akazwara bana in Zimbabwe is a live person. Kutachafa tomorrow or whenever. It's neither here nor there. He needs freedom today. Iye. Mbune. Iye. He's not doing it for me. He's doing it for himself. We don't owe anybody freedom. If that was the case, then Mnangagwa and Zigananda and all those other revolutionaries, you should owe them for life. And this is where we develop the bad cultures, where someone will feel entitled because you certainly thought that this oppression doesn't affect him. That anemari doesn't mean ZANU-PF does not oppress him. Akasimuka kumba kwake based on things that were also troubling him. His first video talked of things unaccomplished for himself. He's not too rich to be not affected by oppression. Him, me, you, whatever level we are in our lives, we are affected by oppression. Kuti vana vake are sorted in what? Right now their father is in hiding. They're not sitting on a table having dinner free in their country. You think they don't need freedom? Don't they want their grandfather in their house? So who is he saving? He's saving himself as well as needing me and you and the next person. Kuti tibatane and do this together. No one is doing anybody a favor. We need each other to save each other. But the minute you start doing the savior mentality, on the other side, you will owe him a debt of gratitude. He can't do this on his own. Otherwise, he would have done it. He needs you. I need the guy who says he's unable. Let's stop dismissing people. Ask. There's not been one person who's asked, Chi, are we going to be sitting on our chairs till the 17th? We are not responsible for anything. We have to capacitate our people.
Those who are in fear, let's find out what will reduce that fear. Those who feel they need support, whether tangible or psychological, we should be there to say, Unodachi, my brother, for what I can borrow to this if I can, or if I can source it for you. Since I will be here on Twitter on the 17th, now is the time for me to borrow into it, to help him whose feet are going to be on the ground. You can't have a million men march with voices on Twitter. You need feet on the ground in Zimbabwe to come from everywhere in Zimbabwe, not just to be from Harare. So how are you going to move people from Geza to get to Unity Square? You need a million people. And you are dismissing a person who says how. Yet you are reading at the top there that to accomplish 2017, a lot of money had to be spent. This is when it gets upsetting. This is not the time to be emotionally blackmailing each other. This is not the time to be berating each other. This is the time to hold each other's hand. If I'm not going to be fit on the ground, I may need to be money in hand, passing it on to a brother who needs feet to get to Harare. If that is where they are meeting. And Geza, it's age. A 15-year-old can help an 80-year-old. An 80-year-old can help another 75-year-old who needs to get on that street. There's nothing that exempts him by age. And that there's nothing that should consider a young person to be the one who should constantly be told, you are so young, you are so young, you are so young, you are the one who needs to do everybody. All hands on deck. Abilities or disabilities.
Can
a
I ask
million
something?
man march is achieved
Can
when
I
we
ask
can take
something?
the list of our people onto the street, not isolating people based on you are too young. What if I'm young but incapable? What if I'm young but I don't have the resources? What if I am young and I've got so many limitations, but I'm willing to go there? Let's not undermine people, and let's not elevate other people as if they don't need to be free. If he doesn't need to be free, don't talk on his behalf. He has never said he's not oppressed either. First video spoke of his oppression, and he matched his oppression to our oppression. And that's true. Who should just be ignored. My brother, the one who asked the question, please ask again, because you were dismissed so quickly. And that question is relevant to a lot of Zimbabweans who could be willing. And we are not supporting them. We are just shouting at them, berating them, and wanting to be brave when on the 17th we'll be here. But if you want to be there, my brother, ask the question. You can come to my inbox. What is it that you need? What would be the people around you need? Muri kupi, unoda kuenda kupi, tikuende say.
Yeah, all I was saying, thank you so much, Mama. You know, all I was saying, most people here are like on the phones. You know, like you were saying, most people are just going to be here on the space, you know, watching the videos and everything. But kuna vanhu vari background, you know, who actually need direction, kuti todini, coordinating. You know, when I spoke, people maybe vanga vachindituka vachiti hey chichi, but this thing is not a straightforward thing. It needs to be well coordinated. Hello? Hapana angachitondituka kuti chimbwa mupengo uri mupengo mukombenzi.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Kana kutombotiudzawo kuti mvura yekumwa, because you know it's going to be a long day, kuti mvura yekumwa, mvura ita 50 cents.
Can I say something? Can I say something? My guy, when we go into war, akudi chechi salad. Zvekuti unofunga kuti kune mvura yekumwa. When people went to war, ana Geza pavaitoenda kuhondo, mwene umwe aingobuda mubaba akakananga. Hakuna munhu akambocoordinate. Hapana. Can I say something?
They were on the street. When the Kenyans were on the street, here on social media, they were arranging water. don't dismiss water. It's very important.
Tokumbira kutaura.
But hauna kumvumidza kuti apedze. You're already telling him kuti musalad.
Okay, simply what I'm saying. Listen, sisi wangu, let me say something. I think there are small little issues here that Damuruda could concentrate.
It's small to
in
you.
I'm on Twitter.
When tear gas hits your face, you need to wash your face. When tear gas hits their faces, if you want them on the street for days, you need to give them water.
Guys, I have to agree with Sister Mercy here. Let's not Sabatina, totally down. Alright, let's not
mirai. Saka muri kutaura here kuti panapa pagadzirwa kakomiti
yemvura
committee ke-welfare panapa paizarwachiya
people that the ones who want to ask Uncle Jet should
no.
Some of us will go to them.
No, I am saying
what will it benefit us?
Aiwa kani mirai kani guys. Inini ndikutaura zviri genuine. Mirai kani, mirai. Inini nditori genuine in what I am saying. Kuti. Saka, is it something that is coming out of here to say kuti pane vanhu vari willing kuda kuita welfare on that day? If they are willing kuda kuita welfare, toti since Mase a volunteer kuti she's willing to get people vauye ku-inbox kwake, we can then maybe discuss that further and see kuti that idea yacho ingaitwe sei. You understand? It's not like kuti nditori genuine vanhu vamwe ari kuhwara zvangu asi nditori munhu bho.
No, you are. Mari tinayo toda GoFundMe.
Vura Uncle Jet, because you know we have to maintain intensity of this room. We need to do something serious. Uncle pa transport pa pachataurwa na Sister Mercy kuti mumwe munhu anenge ari kupindura achida kuenda ku million men march but haana means. Mumwe ari kumuzarabani ari kuda kuenda but haana means.
Panzizo vanenge vari kune mamwe maareas ngavaitire kwavari iko. Vasingakwanisi kupinda muHarare ngavaitire kwavari iko.
But zvinonetsa because it depends now kuti ma-areas kana ari ma-rural areas obviously there is a danger there. Yeah, that's why people are vachienda kuHarare, because obviously kuma-rural it's considered to be ZANU-PF stronghold. It's almost impossible.
It's easier to identify those who participate in rural areas. That's the problem. Yeah, they can easily be identified. Harare is...
Padara chikakupire. Padara atori ruti kuenda kunonzwi yuko. Meno kwari kuenda ndofunga ari kutenderera paChristmas pasi tezvara vangu vachingorasika
kuti padare.
vatsvagira madirections tezvara kuti tezvara
handipo.
Guys, I personally feel the other guys vajoina manje. Soon after Geza, I came up and I said, this call might not take just one day. It might take, we don't know how many days or how many weeks. Ndikatoti isusu seven vari kudiaspora tofana kuita sei, we need to be prepared kuti our support as people in exile is to be able to fund people vari panze. I cannot start planning, as much as I'm on Twitter, I cannot start planning on what people are going to eat in Zimbabwe, but I can make funds available in the right channels to get to Harare, so that the course yacho irikuitika yemas, it's a success. We spoke about it. It's only kuti maybe vanhu vazojoina paya, but we did highlight kuti isusu tese tiri kudiaspora, we will need to extend our hands. As much as tikuda kuziva ma-coordinates acho, guys, Geza is not going to come. One thing Zimbabweans, a lot of Zimbabweans are in denial. They see things happening in Zimbabwe, but they don't want to acknowledge kuti Zimbabwe kuna a ruthless leader who will kill you for saying things. If Geza or Chiwengwa starts giving you coordinates acho kuti we'll do this, we'll do that in detail. Mangwana tinomuka Chiwengwa akafa. So are you going to be happy? Are you going to be satisfied with that information? Because he came and he told you, Mangwana, and we'll do this and we'll do that, we'll do that. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, my sister.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that.
I don't agree. There is plenty that says that there's nothing wrong with coordinating things. Doesn't mean Geza himself has to do it. But questions are not being asked to Geza. Geza is not here. Questions are being asked to each other here. Geza is used as a reference. So you can't hear the question yourself and then dismiss it. Kana kune vanhu vanema answers for certain things. You can answer. You're already in your safe space, kwauri.
My sister, let me say something.
Dismiss it.
Tampons
We
were
can't keep
uncle.
calling people that they are not. No, people are in fear. Fear is a real thing. It's not a figment.
Very
of
true.
It's not this whole dismissing. Why don't Zimbabweans act? Why don't people act? It's not Taurua all the time. You must deal with those things.
Sister.
Even Kuondo Kwacho, before people went, they were being psychologically tuned to be able to do that, to overcome fears. They were being capacitated in communities. But Zimbabwe, you don't need anything. Just take yourself.
My sister.
Everybody knows we are being abused. But that is stopping people from doing it. That's why people come up with these questions. They are not silly
But
questions.
who do you want to give you those answers?
You.
Who? When we are all in fear, you want me tomorrow? Listen, my sister, ZANU PF is everywhere. In case you did not know.
I already know.
So who do you want to come on the space and tell? Do you want Uncle?
I am on the space myself, saying
please.
those things. I'm not waiting for anybody to come.
Can I say something, please?
Sister
Say
Penelope,
something.
I think you are arguing the obvious.
Exactly.
You are arguing the obvious. Chirikunzi, zirikunzi, kuti overcome. Look, last time we had the same issue, and it it's also triple safe space. It's easier for us to go to we are not scared. Then at the end of the day, background apana result like last time. So Sister Mercy is saying, let's discuss, let's have a discussion, let's dismiss one who raise my concerns a fear. Let's break that chain, let's break that cycle of fear. How do we do it? Coordination is one of those things, and also grooming people psychologically is very important. So these are very, very. I'm glad that the sister came on this platform, because we were going to dismiss all these things, the questions that are being raised. Let's live here tonight. Try to address how do we address those issues, because we've had the same issue time and time again. It's also hyper each other, say ground I was speaking to my brother Rumarundera just in Chigoti. How is it looking? My brother was surprised because it's actually peaceful, and the tension in Utawa, and it's not there. So let's find out why is it our people it's okay for us. We are in a safe space. Thank you,
brother. You know, if you allow me to speak, 2018 is still fresh in people's minds, right? At the moment, I do agree we have got to get rid of Uganda. Personally, None of these two, ED or Chiwenga, is my favorite, but I'll probably prefer a change at the moment. But Zaziri is Nizis. 2018, people were killed. It's also we were not on the ground. When we were on the ground, they still remember that vividly. To add to what the previous speaker said, what are we going to do to break that cycle? It's very difficult. We can mobilize funds. We can mobilize everything. If there is no one on the street, nothing is going to work. How do we go about it?
How
are you sure about that?
Hello, my brother. That's the same thing I asked. Pane pandabvunzawo question. Ndichiti mukuona zvakaitika kuMozambique. That guy, even though zvisina kuzobudirirawo sezvaanoda, protest iyayi yakaita mutsindo iyayi. What is the difference and how can we copy from that and improve our approach? But no one replied. I think maybe zvamuri kutaura izvo zvecoordination, ndataura zvecoordination nezvese izvo mumwe akandituka kuzi chimbwampengo uri mbwampengo.
Can I ask? You were not supposed to shout one like that because coordination inoitika. Mozambique, I would say, neZimbabwe zvakatosiyana. What we are talking about
Mozambique, was it not? Mozambique, was it not because there was a huge anticipation of an electoral win for that guy, and then there were allegations of rigging that some of them saw brazen, such that people were prepared not to accept that result.
Yes, Uncle Jet.
I do agree with you.
Yes, Uncle Jet, what you are saying is right.
From Zimbabwe 2023. How different is that? It's exactly Mozambique situation, Zimbabwe situation 2023 is exactly the same thing. But what the difference there is, Mozambicans were brave enough, and there was a little bit of an allowance for them to go onto the streets. Because Zimbabwe at the moment, tinganyeperana. In the constitution, there is freedom to demonstrate, but basically in Zimbabwe, it's illegal to demonstrate. You pay with your life.
Can I say something? Can I contribute? Okay, we have the gentleman and the lady that insist on people being informed, people to be encouraged. From my experience as a Zimbabwean, right now, Tiripano on the space, the Mkoma Jed was saying, there's someone that's coming, Arku requester and whatever. Tiriku discuss that there's someone that's listening to this to report back. Your neighbor in Zimbabwe is looking at you to report back. That is the situation we have. The people vatirikatarisira tirikuti Chiwengwa achati leader, we are choosing Chiwengwa over Mnangagwa. We do not, Chiwengwa does not even know kuti 3 days from today, how is he going to survive? Is he going to be alive? Is he going to end up in jail or what? No one knows. Hondo inoda munhu azvipira, noti munhu ari kuda kunyorerwa syllabus. It is not for everyone. This is why we have other fathers went to war, other fathers went into exile and did mass studies, and other people remained. So it is up to an individual to make that decision. It's a personal decision that you're going to make and say, I am prepared to end the things that are happening in Zimbabwe. No one is going to force you. If you feel you need a bottle of water, you shall carry water. If you feel kuti akuna mvura ichabuda mtape, asi ndichaenda kuno demonstrator, you will go and nothing will stop you. That is the spirit yevanhu vanoenda in the streets. You can't force someone to end up in the streets. Once you force them, once ukanyengerera foot at kunyengererana, it's a willing buyer, willing seller. Those who are prepared. Some people will lock themselves in their homes.
Right. Okay, all right. Regai tizovamwo kuti vanoti tibatsirane. I think tiri kutenderera pane chinhu chokuti chinogona kana ngosolvheka so ne 1 or 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 contributions dzinenge dzakangofocasa on that thing. Tizwe kuti vamwe vari kuti koenda kupiwa. All right, Mandas, you want to come in? Mandas.
I am good. Thank you. Actually this year ningediri ku Zimbabwe in January. Glenora. Went to Glenora per specimen baby. So it's specimen ku Glenora. There is the water drills that was drilled by USAID, Australian Development Fund, Africa Aid, the World Development Bank. So there were 2 waters that were actually comes using solar panels. There's no water in Glenora. Those facilities were shut. And then I asked the question among the people that were sitting, why are these facilities shut? Because I've been to inside these areas, people are saying they don't have water. Zanu came in and they were collecting revenues from people who were getting the water. So then they stopped these people because from collecting revenue, which was going straight to ZANU PF. City Council closed it and put their own people. ZANU PF people came back and dismissed those City Council appointees and dismissed them and said the money is now going towards CCC. As I speak now, that facility is still shut. Yet you're at a place where the whole of Glenora is standing there at the shop, Pamsika, Pating, Bopa, Bawa, we are scared of them. So for us to try and talk that they're going to go to the cities and demonstrate and stuff like that, we need to change our mindset. If I couldn't even convince the whole people, usually I just go there, a few crates of beer and I gave to the guys. And I'm just asking them the simple thing. There's water there. There's Australia, USA, there's this and that. Jojo tank. There are a few Jojo tanks that are there. But people can't have water because ZANU-PF is telling them that you cannot have water. So we need to change our mindset. Let's change our mindset and think, how do we motivate everybody? High density. Before we start thinking of going to the edge city to try and demonstrate, let's start to demonstrate from the high density before we move forward and change that mindset. Because if they are scared about 3 people that are coming to shut the water down and they don't have water, the whole of Glenora, guys, we haven't started. We really need to change these things. Trungo Simbisana Panapa on the ground. People are not voting. I was there in 2013 after the elections, but when they 3rd of August, I'm thinking, how did they lose? You go everywhere where I go, I travel around asking people, did you vote? No. Did you vote? No. The majority of people that had voted was ZANU-PF. People are disengaging in the politics. They just, they just you're going to get killed. You're going to get killed. Let's try to change that mindset first before we even try to demonstrate. I know tomorrow we need the 17 to do this, but it might not even happen because we haven't changed the mindset from the people who are in the high densities first and the people in the rural areas to say that this is enough. Tagwire now in Central Committee, you guys, we are in for it. Chiwengo, I think he was being pushed by the Chinese. The Chinese don't like this, what's happening in Zimbabwe. But they're enjoying it as well. But, guys,
anyway, okay, you know what? I totally understand and appreciate what you're saying. But if you look back from what you're saying, you say displacement, that's Harare. That's definitely opposition stronghold. ZANU-PF, to be honest, is the minority in the whole country. if we want to talk about reality and the facts on the ground. But I'll take you back to 2008. 2008 was sort of an election that was next to close to a free and fair election. The opposition won. And if you remember what happened during the runoff, ZANU-PF was the minority. It's kind of it comes back. I do agree with you. Our mindset as Zimbabweans, we are not prepared to sacrifice. That includes me. When I say this, it includes me as well, because to be honest, if we say Tamiraba, there are people that have sacrificed their lives already. A lot of people, we've got more than 200, our own heroes, proper heroes that we can mention. But nothing came out of it. I'll come back to 2018. Chiwenga was involved. He is the better devil. Me, I believe. I do believe he's the better devil. He may be more cruel, but I believe he won't steal as much as the other one. You know, given a choice, I would opt for him. It comes back to how do we overcome this fear? No one is, at the moment, is prepared to die for Zimbabwe in our generation. How do we overcome that fear? That's a fact, which will see why Friday will probably become more of a stay away, not because people want to stay away, because people are afraid to go in town, even to do their business, and end up dying. How do we overcome that?
Okay. I see you ended up.
And then I believe anything is possible, but you have to put the work. There's nothing, very few things in life are just spontaneous. Very few revolutions have happened that way. But they would need a very significant trigger. You are trying to mobilize people, not based on any trigger that they know on the ground. You read the dossiers. This is not a public knowledge thing. So you're trying to get these people to get on the street, but you don't want to do the work, and then you romanticize the liberation war. I don't know how many people in people's families went to war, and if they've ever listened to why they went to war and how they got there. We just have these people already there based on some superhuman idea. No. People were being taught at school. People were being directed from where they were. My mother was in a boarding school in Mutare. She's not a superhuman person, but lessons daily in class. Directions given, messages coming from those who had already gone on the other side. The other ones who had attempted to go and not make it to the other side. Every day, how do you get there? Till others had clarity of, Buddha up. So on the day I leave, what do I need to do? Fake an illness. Get a letter from school, kuti ndiri kuenda kuchipatara. So what do I need to do? I need to carry my dress whilst I'm wearing a uniform to school. Pass yangu ndinayo here. Those things were constantly building confidence that it's possible that I'll get to Mozambique. Ndasvika papasi iyi. What do I look for? Some already knew. Look for the house, iri white, iri pamsoro, follow that train. And this is a munhu who says, people just, very few people just. Go and read the stories of these liberators, and they will tell you it's constant being taught something. But Beku Zimbabwe, you don't want to teach them anything. You hope that they will sleep on the 16th, wake up on the 17th, and they know. No, there are some people who need kubatwa maoko to be shown direction. It's not money, it's not physical money. The other brother is correct. We can gather as much money. Toipa ani. We can have bottles and bottles of water if there's no one on the street? Where is it going? The trick here is to get people to the street. Tamu street, tane momentum. Watch what the Kenyans were doing. It's not like they all woke up that day and the streets were filled. The whole day from the first day, there were people who were still home. Their social media was busy talking about, where are you? They even blocked some platforms to say, you will not come up to speak on the speaker unless you tell me where on the ground you are. Tell me what you can see right now, so that the ones who are still at home can understand. And they were encouraging each other the whole day, unless you were not watching. It didn't happen sporadically that they ended up on that street. No, those who were already there were telling others how they are dealing with tear gas, so that the ones who are at home who fear tear gas, how are they dealing with it? Some were telling each other, no, this is what I'm wearing. Don't wear this. Don't wear my flip-flops. Don't do this. Carry a flannel. Make sure you've got your water. Make sure your water has got a straw thing, because when you are looking everywhere and tear gas is in your face, you can't even unscrew something. You need to be able to just turn your head and suck on a straw. Don't drink. Zimbabweans think these things. Where are you when things are happening in Mozambique? Do you go on their platforms and hear how they mobilize people? They're not insulting people. You don't get people on the street by telling them for they are unfeeling, they are ignorant. This is not the time to be telling people they are weak. This is the time to be bringing up their strength. Ignite the strength in the person. I'm not all for this. There's no mobilization that has happened. I don't believe that you can just end up with 1 million people. But if you work from today, from yesterday, the whole of tonight, I can't imagine war veterans will be on the street. I've got 75 uncles and aunties who are war veterans. We just had a funeral. I didn't hear any of them talking about the 17th. I can't dream that all veterans are going to be on the street. They belong to war veterans associations. Yet they don't know this. I'm not believing a person who just tells me war veterans are going to be there. War veterans live in my house. And they're not talking about that. So if I spend all my day in Diripa Twitter here and hoping war veterans, yet the war veterans are in my house, where should I have spent my whole day? Your fingers should be here now in your WhatsApp groups, in your families. Because my war veterans are Ikoko. War veterans are not produced in Chongwe house. They are in your house. Kumba kwenyu. So if you are not talking to them, and you are hoping some guy who will come on this platform is now going to gather the information and then go and talk to them, you know they are sleeping. It's your uncle, he sleeps at 7. When is he going to talk to this guy who's going to come here? Yet you are in a WhatsApp group with him. So Jokuswera Pano all day and our fingers are idle. Yet the people who need to be on the street, we are the connectors. Who are you hyping up? Me, who on the 17th is going to be here on Twitter. I don't need hyping up. The person who needs to be hyped up is the one who sleeps at 7 and is not watching Uncle Jed. But you have got a snap response to get to them. So if you want war veterans, talk to the war veterans in your family. Your uncle war veteran, Taku. Your aunt war veteran, Stabiso. Find out what is happening. If you want youth is your brother who is at your house. It's not in the WhatsApp group of the guy who come to Uncle Jed's space. He's in your WhatsApp group. So let's connect with our communities. And if we really want this Million Men March to work, let's go answering all the questions that are being directed to Geza, because Geza is not here. He's on YouTube. Imagine what Geza would have answered that question. Don't dismiss it. Kanatichienda, we know what ZANU-PF. The more of us are going to be there, we know they are going to use the pillars of power. Police, secret service, whatever. Yes, there needs to be a plan. Our plan is it's going to be long-standing. If it's a revolution, that's what is going to happen. Take your flannel, take your water. You may not get a person to give you water. These are things we should talk about. Gather your friends. It's better if you're on the street and you've got a band of brothers. Your longevity on the street is longer than if you are attempting to go Uriweka and you're going to find friends there. No, you need your support base. So takura mumwe, that you are going to be thinking together, imomo moderating each other. And zokuti hondo. We're not going to hondo. You're not going to match ZANU-PF with violence. So we need to understand the temperament we need on the ground. No one is going to do that.
To add to that, sister, it's not the whole of ZANU-PF.
Exactly.
We've got a faction of ZANU-PF on our side. That's all. Because
if you go there with a bad attitude, you'll be over before you start. You want this thing to have you on the street, allowing others to come from home. Pacing a protest is very important. Unless people have never been in a protest before. You don't want to go to a protest first hour. What of Vondomborazwin? Police are already there. Some people are making their way. You've already distracted the whole thing. You want to pace yourself into a protest. Allow those who are viewing it to see. Temperament, say, Koko, kurukuna kiza, let's go, let's follow. You want to go there in the spirit here, hondo nani.
Well said.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mercy. Section 60. Section 60. Section 60. Section 60.
I think
Manje tunakuya ku section 60 kuku manje amita kupindula. Najuzo nini. Child of Zimbabwe pinda yenyungu amumbotaura. Right. Regeti so bamwe. Child of
Okay, guys, now the way we're going, I think, is the right way. Whether we believe or we don't, we need to support those that believe. Because mangwana but tichaita zvato believe my women's rights, girls' rights, whatever rights for us women. So for today, let's support that are believing, those that are believing. I haven't been given permission to share information, yamogona kuzobeliever kuti there is something happening kuma war vets. But I assure you, the war vets are getting ready. They are getting ready. They are mobilizing themselves. Saga, Dango, the image that I was getting was these 60, 70, 80-year-olds wachidiro tigers. And the youth probably might not be there. That's the only thing that crossed my mind. I mean,
right, okay. Thank you very much. Ryuji.
Hello, thank you, Uncle. Murise.
Murise, boy.
Triple. Yeah, yet again, thank you very much for this platform. I hope my donations in my drinks are because you dedicate your time to provide this platform for people to discuss some very important matters about our country. It appears that we, Zimbabwean politics, we go through some cycles. It's like a vicious cycle of the same things that that trouble us. Zimbabwean politics is very, very toxic, and unless this system is removed
which I'm not going to go into detail about how it should be removed, because that's actually a separate debate. But the fact of the matter is it's a system that needs to be removed and destroyed, because what it does is it produces the same problems. One, it produces disputed elections, which are very, very costly to the country, which are very costly to human life. People lose their lives, people lose their jobs, the name of the country is tainted, and we are basically a laughingstock to other nations. And it is the same political system that produces these coups, not a coup scenarios. And it's the same political system that produces the ZANU-PF factional wars. You know, this is not the first time that Zimbabwe has experienced these factional wars. If you think about it, since the formation of ZANU-PF, these factions always happen. And I'm not suggesting in any way that it should be perfect, there shouldn't be any factional wars. They do happen even in very developed countries that that portrays themselves as the beacon of democracy. They have these factional wars, but the type of factional wars that we have in Zimbabwe are very, very costly. They actually stop the country from developing. This ZANU-PF Congress, what surprises me is it's like a government. It's like a government saying, it's like a Zimbabwe history event here, the whole country. The business must stop, governance must stop, because there is a ZANU-PF conference. It's very disturbing when you read information that, I don't know how far true that information is, but if it is true, it's a significant worry that a private citizen like Taguere can actually fund an army, a national army. So basically we have a national army that is basically out there for hire. It's like Monya for hire, our army. It's like a security company that anybody who wants some job done, or who's got a personal agenda, or who's got, who wants to exploit government institutions can just pay the army and get their work done. It's very worrying. And in this fight that we were seeing before our eyes, that's this unfolding before our eyes between supposedly Mnangagwa camp and ET camp. There's no winner in this fight, but there is a loser, and the loser is Zimbabwe, because national resources are being exploited for the benefit of a faction. And that's the same thing we saw when Mugabe fell out with ET. One faction won, claimed victory, which is the faction of ET Mnangagwa, and it is the same faction that gave birth to the Gananda that have won on us. And who was the loser, the biggest casualty in that fight? It was not Mugabe, because Mugabe was, it was towards the end of his life anyway. The biggest casualty has been the country, the institutions that is supposed to be protecting the country, the institution that's supposed to, support the growth of the country. The justice system is gone, the National Army is gone, the Electoral Commission is gone, The Reserve Bank is gone, the police is gone. And these institutions are no longer serving the nation. They're serving a faction of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF as an institution is no longer fit to be a political party that participates in national elections. In its current form, in its current state, and in the way it functions and operates, it is a party that should not exist or allowed to exist, allowed to function, unless it reforms itself into a democratic party that respects the laws of the country and also that is also subject of scrutiny, criticism, and also that abides by the laws that govern the functions of political party. As it is above the law. It controls the laws of the country. It controls the most important institutions of the country, to the extent that they are now an extension of that party. Everything that comes out of this party is destroying the country. And I have no dog in this fight between Chiwenga and ED, simply because this is a factional fight. These people are fighting for the control of the national purse, of the national resources. They are jealous of each other. Because if you think about it, that was the same thing with ED and Mugabe. And a lot of people were saying that when ED was Mugabe's vice president, he was running a parallel institutions ready to take over. He was doing all the groundwork to unseat Mugabe, to the extent that people believe that all the bad things that are allegedly committed, all the sins that were committed by Mugabe, the henchman and the chief architect of those sins was ED. And based on the evidence on the ground, it's very difficult to dispute that argument. Because all he wanted was to get into power. And the way his people or his team or his Zigananda smoothly and easily took over and started running the institutions of the country is shocking. And if you look at Chiwenga now, people are saying, oh, he should, there's some people who are arguing that he's the best foot forward, he should take over. I'm afraid we're going to have another crop of Ziganandas that are just a carbon copy of the same Zigananda that we have. They probably just jealous of who's eating more and who's in control. It's like law of the jungle, where two predators are fighting over the control of piece of land or a carcass.
Right.
That's what we are witnessing, and I would say in this fight, the best thing to do is to watch them destroy each other. Because if one side is destroyed, that means you only have to fight one enemy. But for me personally, I'm really tired about Zim politics. It's very toxic. It's very draining to the extent that you can predict for the next 10 years, we are going to have more of the same. And even if the Chiwenga side wins this fight and unseat ED is going to be a flip side of the same coin. There is nothing new that is going to emerge out of this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate. Can I? Right, Kwanzaa Nani, do you want to come in?
Thank you, Geza. And I didn't jump the line. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to follow the conversation. I've been out of action for a couple of days. Yeah. I was in South Africa, so I came back now. Yeah, I'm just listening to people. Yeah, ZANU PF. I think the gentleman that said, ZANU PF is no longer fit to be a political party, because these guys have done a lot of despicable things. In terms of corruption, I don't know. It's just too much. It's just beyond, repair or whatsoever. They will never reform when it comes to reforming this political animal. It's not going to happen. And I think as Zimbabweans, we need to understand how extensive this battle is. Unfortunately, our country is not similar to South Africa. South Africa, there is still a little glimpse of hope that they can, they are, capable of trying to dismantle the system that is going on in South Africa. And when we look at these countries, these two countries, there is a similar trend. And unfortunately, the leadership of ANC and ZANU-PF, these guys are working together. And what I want to bring here as well, I think it's a good thing that we're now discussing these things and we're now intentional and want to be practical, want to fight for our country. And I also want to, guys, encourage, all of us as Zimbabweans, to also connect with people that are not from our country, especially, South Africans. They are fighting their corner and they now understand the issue that is in this region. So as we are fighting, as we are focusing on, our comrades in Zimbabwe, but let us also make every effort to connect with South Africans. I know we've been fighting as citizens, Zimbabwean, South Africans, for different reasons and all that and whatever. But I would like to think Kuti Zimbabweans and South Africans who are brothers and sisters. And the moment we realize Kuti, our issue is these top guys who are politicians. And I was following the commission thing that is happening in South Africa. Those guys are exposing, these top guys. And these top guys are also connected to ZANU-PF. And I also looked at the history of both countries. From apartheid in South Africa, ANC, and then to the extent of ANC forming, a military wing because they were now desperate. The apartheid people, they were not wanting to give up on whatever they had created in terms of that system. It ended up becoming a police state because they were killing black people and so forth and all that. But black people came together. They formed this MK whatever thing, and they started going outside the country, Angola and so many other countries, Zambia, I think Zimbabwe as well. It was a difficult battle, but in the end, they came through. I don't want to dwell on it, but I'm trying to paint a picture here. And this is the phase 2 of fighting, a battle that is more of a colonial battle. We are now colonized by our so-called, revolutionary or so-called leaders that liberated us from white people and all that. And the battle is fierce. And these guys, they will never, just give our country back to us just like that. And we need to understand that this battle is serious. These guys are sitting on top of our assets. So we need to spread our wings. I went on holiday just to South Africa. By the grace of God, I managed to speak to, certain individuals there in South Africa who are connected to various groups and all that. And these guys are willing to work with us despite our differences, that South Africans are fed up and all that. And I believe that's another avenue that we can use to effectively fight Sukanandas, because we cannot, fight ZANU-PF directly by ourselves as Zimbabweans. Could we go on the ground just like that? We need to do it in phases, and we can capitalize on this situation by building strategic relationships with South Africans and building things there on the ground in South Africa, because I see South Africa as a constituency of Zimbabwe as well, because there are millions of Zimbabweans there. Even though organizations like the Dula are trying to, put us in a corner and do things that are inhuman, but we can still speak to these guys, and these guys are ready, and to form strategic relationships with us, and we can use South Africa as our base as well as we're fighting this. That's the point that I was trying I wanted to bring to this platform, and I think other people that are also listening to South African politics in terms of fighting corruption, being led by that guy Mkwanazi and his teams and other opposition political parties. We know and we fully understand that they are going somewhere and something is working, at least in South Africa, and we can collaborate with these guys to fight ZANU-PF. I don't know if it makes sense to anyone who is following what is going on in South Africa. So yeah, let us not just fight this battle by ourselves as Zimbabwe. Let's just form strategic relationships, international relationships. We'll get somewhere. And there are certain things that I really learned, but I cannot say everything in the public domain. The people that I managed to speak to in South Africa and so forth, they know that. But yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You spoke about collaborating with other African nations, which is a good idea, but what we have right now is every other African country surrounding Zambia. At least Zambia, they got their president that they wanted. South Africa, they have a crisis on their own that they're trying to deal with. As much as we are Zimbabweans, if I were South Africa, I would say we need to remove all the Zimbabweans in South Africa so that Zimbabweans can go back home. And South Africans that are fighting for that, they are justified. So they also have a crisis where they have so many people, immigrants coming in to disturb their economic their economic status as South Africans. So how, I'm asking you if you could give us maybe ideas on how you think people in Mozambique were on the streets also saying we want our freedom. They went on their own. We heard about it. We did not go and help them. Kenyans went on the streets, and we never went and helped them. So what makes us so special that other countries should come and help us? That's my question. And why are we failing to do it on our own, like what other countries are doing? That's my question.
Okay, thank you, Penelope. Yeah. You know, when it comes to our Berkeley, what can I say? So, like I said, for the past, I think, 10 days, I was on the ground in South Africa. So personally, with other colleagues like, Wana Dobbs and all that, we've been speaking to South Africans on spaces and Twitter and all that, are trying to understand one another and also our Berkeleys. And when it comes to our Berkeley as Zimbabweans, it is related to what is going on in South Africa. Ramaphosa and ED are tight friends. They are supporting one another. Mm-hmm. And it also in terms of, the business deals that they are doing, extorting our resources, they are working together.
Yeah.
So to fight, to sort of like resolve a problem that you see, you need to fully understand it and diagnose it properly. So also South Africans, as they are fed up with us, being in South Africa in our numbers and all that, they now fully understand that this Berkeley, which is destroying our region, is SADC. It is the political elite, and they are connected and they are working together. So now they are fully understanding that we also as citizens of SADC need to work together. Back in the days, they never fully understood it. They will support their presidents. They will even support someone like Ramaphosa, saying, Ramaphosa is our president. You guys deal with your president. But now, certain groups in South Africa, or even organizations or opposition political movements, I'll give an example, MK. Yes, what's his name? Zuma has got his own issues and all that. We know that he did a lot of things that are wrong. But these guys now fully understand that the problem that we're having is ANC and ZANU-PF. So because of that, they also want to work with us to dismantle this system, because this system is not just in one country. That's why you see people like Chivayo and others being able to move things even from Zimbabwe to South Africa and to other places. And for us to go to the root cause and dismantle this system, we have to work together. And South Africans are beginning to understand, and different groups are beginning to understand. Like I said, when I was on holiday, I engaged a number of guys and all that who are in different groups in South Africa. they are also willing to work with us. So we can also use that avenue, because the revolutionary parties, when they fought the colonialists, when they fought the apartheid system in South Africa, they also collaborated. That's why you see, people like Mugabe, that they were out of the country, and so many players. Same as South Africa, certain citizens they moved to different countries, fighting that apartheid system. So, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
I do understand. Okay. I do agree. Sorry, guys. I do agree on us working with everyone that wants to work with us. But how is the question? Are we going to call South Africans to come on the front line? Or do we start?
No, we not exactly. We're not dragging South Africa to the to what you call to Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
No, not exactly. But what South Africans fully understand now, because we've been discussing with them behind the scenes, they fully understand that Zimbabwean battle is different from theirs in South Africa, because their systems are still working at the moment. That's why you see this commission that is led by Kwanazi and others. It's very forceful, and they're broadcasting it. It's only a few days now that they stopped discussing a lot of things, and I think they're now speaking behind the scenes and also in the parliament and whatnot. Such things that do not happen in Zimbabwe. So they also highlighted that, you guys, we understand that if you do demonstration right now in Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF will come for you. They will try and kill the citizens. They will try and do the shootings and all that. But such a thing does not happen in South Africa. People can demonstrate and whatnot. They can express themselves. But in Zimbabwe, the converse is true.
Do you know why South Africans don't do that? Because South African citizens are ruthless. They take the law in their hands. South African citizens are not like us Zimbabweans.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing.
I keep telling people to say, if we Zimbabweans need to get our Zimbabwe. I was in South Africa for 10 years before I ran away and came to UK. But one thing that I've learned from South Africa is not to fear. As much as we fear death will still come to us. South Africans, Ramaphosa knows that if South Africans feel they want to chase away Zimbabweans tomorrow and they go on the streets, he's finished. And when they go on the streets, if they are convinced, they will do it. Even, I don't know, there's a total difference. We cannot compare a Zimbabwean who feels I'm so educated, I have got what and what and what. They look at how much is in their banks, or they've moved to UK, or they have achieved A, B, C, D, and they think that's enough for them. South Africans, even if they are educated, they come to a point where they don't reason like I normally do myself. I put everything to say, even if I went to school, it's not relevant. Right now, what we need is to free Zimbabwe, and I concentrate on that. Right now, as Zimbabweans, we don't need to be divided or to say, hey, this one did what. Our main issue here is, how do we remove the oppressor? That's my take. I talk a lot. I get emotional about Zimbabwe, but that's the difference between Zimbabwean and South Africans.
So why is South Africa having so many commissions and state capture if this attitude works?
It's a whole library of commissions that are commissions of unresolved things, of state capture, institutional capture, instruments of state, resources of state with these revolting people. The poverty that is in South Africa, the disparity between the rich and the poor. I'm not saying that they don't have this revolting spirit, but their country is going downhill. The institutions that you are saying are still not captured. South Africa is the first country in SADC that spoke of state capture to a grand scale relative to their economy. What you're dealing with in Zimbabwe is infana to what is happening in South Africa. These commissions are not commissions of unknown things that have not been commissioned before, that they did Toy Toy about before. They happened with Toy Toy. Resources were stolen. Things are running riot. Communities are fragmenting all over. So we have to be careful, and South Africans have constantly told us, if you've been following South African platforms, it's very unbecoming to speak of a people's lived experience and say they are okay. Bashiri Nani, when they are telling you that what is happening in their country is crazy, and we sit here and say, no, they are better than us. They are better. What was the whole cry? Yeah, EFF. Was it not state capture that even ended up with the head of state that went to prison? Did it solve anything? Are they not back again discovering? Untold. So we have to be very careful, and these are the things that cause us to separate from our neighbors who we say we are also enticing on. When we speak about them as if they are the better lot, as if they've got it easy. We did it again when we spoke about Kenya. We said, oh no, it's because their environment. Have you seen the death toll of people in Kenya from protest? Have you seen the heavy-handedness of their police? We said the same thing about Mozambique. No, their environment, no, it's very hostile. In Mozambique, there are assassinations on a daily basis. Zimbabweans need to stop saying their situation is worse than other situations. We won't have anybody work with us if we start to say, no, they are the privileged lot who still have things intact. Our commissions in South Africa, right now, they are making TV everywhere. You go on TikTok, you go on Insta, you go everywhere. The reason you were in South Africa and you were so interested in commissions, it's exactly the same Zukananda issue that keeps circulating in courts and people getting away with shit. South Africa is very good at smokes and mirrors, pacifying their citizens, undermining the activism that is happening, riding roughshod over their sacrifices. We can't sit here and talk of South Africans as if it's drama when they go out. No, they achieve very little for very much that they put in. Their government is bad. I agree with you, Konza, that there needs to be coordination between, as regional partners, we need to work together. But if we go with the attitude and this idea that education causes people, EFF, one of their biggest strategies was educating their comrades from grassroots level. You go to grassroots South Africa, rural areas, there are people who have PhDs now. Ignorance is not freedom. Our liberators were educating themselves in prison. A whole program of mandatory study were revolutionaries. All of them. Mugabe had most of his degrees in prison. There's nothing that says that education causes you to not be revolutionary. Something we need to throw away. Ignorance does not free people. In Zimbabwe, kids were being sought at school. As they were studying, they were not stopped from studying. They were educated. Anankomo, anachitepo met on a train going to South Africa to educate themselves. And we produced heroes. This talking about education as if, no, Zimbabwe didn't educate people. We're not educated. The reason we are oppressed is not because we are educated. It's because we have an oppressive system. They were 100 years oppressed by the British South Africa Company. They'd not gone to university. What was the excuse then? So there's no relationship between being educated and being oppressed. Chinese people are oppressed. You cannot sit in a classroom with them. They can excel in a lot of things, yet oppression happens there. There's no relationship between the GDP of a country and the oppressive system. Sometimes there isn't. China achieves far greater than you, yet they've had the longest protest in their countries. Go and see how long they've been sitting there. Most people, look at how many people are in exile. They are educated people. So this is the language that causes us to be fragmented. When we start to say, no, Kudzitsa, no, we need all hands on deck. Chitepo was educated. And yet he was one of some of the best philosophers, some of the best theories that we used for our revolutionary struggle. Pararenyatwa was a practicing doctor. Nkomo is a social worker by training.
And eventually, all the educated
So there is no
ones,
relationship. It's what causes us, when we come together, to try and diminish each other by saying, no, South Africans have a big job that they need to do. There are things we should emulate about them, but we should never undermine that they are also facing a very uphill struggle. Tandem to their previous system that wanted them ignorant and uneducated. The current people who are trying to free them understand the value of education, not just from their representatives to the grassroots, being able to grasp things, reason on your own. The reason now we keep saying, oh, what is Geza saying? Is because on our own we can't reason. Tendai Biti speaks about agency, and agency is not joking. Critical thinking is important for freedom. There's no revolutionary leader who was an uneducated person or didn't seek education. So we can do both.
My take from politics, most of the educated leaders and revolutionary, they end up in the trenches or in the graves. And the people like Anamnangagwa and they end up in the state house. So at the end of the day, your education doesn't work really so much when it comes to politics. Politics is for the hard-hearted ones.
When you are dead also doesn't work. We have a lot of dead people who were not educated. They are littered on the streets of Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, there's more dead uneducated people in a revolution.
So you think the sister told ignorance? You think Mnangagwa is ignorant?
He's not. Was working.
Yeah, but she thinks that Mnangagwa is ignorant. He's not. He's a clever man. You think a guy can get in that position if they are not clever? He's a very clever chap.
He's got luck.
Why do you think he sends commissars? Why do you think he sends commissars into schools, into universities? Why do you think he sends them? Have you seen what the makeup of most commissars are? That go into your communities and abuse and harass and mobilize.
Just like Julius, what was that guy called from Zimbabwe? Julius, what did you used to call him? Guinea guy. Some people have wisdom and some people have education. And when you start realizing the difference,
you don't gather it from ignorance.
When you start realizing that some people have wisdom And some
Name
people
one
have
wise person will
education.
tell you where they were
And
educated.
it's the most educated people that suffer the
Tell
most.
us one wise, ignorant person. Tell us one.
Chamisa.
Chamisa is an ignorant person.
Yes.
Okay.
Educated and very ignorant.
Well, in his age group, he makes history. He is the youngest contestant.
What history has he made when he's never even
Go
won
and
an
read your
election?
Zimbabwean history. His act in that.
The begging force helping us. Guys, I'm not feeling well. But in Udo people can do not argument. They actually base I think we've had enough for today. Sorry guys, I'm not feeling well.
Sorry, Uncle Jet, well,
thank you.
Uncle Jet, I really need to go now.
We are not going to get educated trying to get other people to cancel education. Throw away your certificates, rub your mind, and then don't educate anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Pinza Chido before you close.
Okay, Chido, you come through.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Omadume for his efforts to going to South Africa and being a diplomat for the cause of the Zimbabweans. Thank you so much for even taking the initiative to do that and stand up for us. And we really want to start having these engagements with our South African brothers and sisters with the way of exchanging information so that we can empower our people, so that we can be able to be strong and able to take our country and our freedom back. Thank you so much, Uncle Jet.
All right, thank you very much. Guys, I get to know how do I sleep, but we'll try and open, tomorrow again. But I really need to go. I really need, because I'm dozing off and I'm not concentrating. Saka, I always want to stay on top of the situation. Saka, thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much for the contributions, the speakers, the listeners. Let us do this again, tomorrow. But thank you very much and good night.
Good night.
Good night.